What is up, guys? Crisis here. I'm back with the emblem editor again. This time I'm making one that's kind of difficult. It is Punisher. This one is probably the hardest, I want to say. I mean, the Pikachu one was hard in that it just took a long time. This one's actually kind of difficult to get to look right. So you start off, you do need that skull, which I think you get by, it's like Frenzy Killer or something like that. I don't really know how you get it, but I have it, so I'm guessing it's not that hard, because I don't really play the game that much. So I'm guessing most people probably do. Then you just want to use a big, one of those big loop, like, circles with the hole in the middle, just to kind of round off the top, and then make an oval out of a circle to round off the top. Get it a little more exact. That also covers the eyes, make the eyes look right. Getting this to look right is probably the toughest part, because you have to make the circle the right size to fit the head without coming off and being kind of pointy. The easiest way to do that is to just make the empty circle really, really big, and then you can kind of use that to cover up what's behind the oval. That's the easiest way I found to make this, and this was definitely the hardest part. So you can see I make it really big right there, and then just throw that behind it to cover it up, and that gets the pretty like basic outline. Then you want to grab just the rectangle, pull it down for his teeth, or well, like the mouth part. Make it a bit fatter to cover everything up, and you just want to put that right there. And then you'll finish that in a second. I like to just do this and make this another white one really long and thin. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be really thin. And just kind of put that to cover the nose part up, because in the actual picture it's not connected. Then I just copy that one, put it there, make it black. I don't know why I put it in the black and then made it black, because then I can't see it, so that didn't make any sense. Make it a little bit fatter. You still want this to be pretty thin. It's not particularly fat there. So I still do make that pretty thin, and then copy it twice, because you want 3 little gaps. Once that's that part, you're not going to really make it look perfect. If you look in the picture, it's a little bit different, but you can't really make it look perfect. So, but that gets the point across. That's obviously pretty close. Then you want to grab the shield and make it black, and just you can kind of put that in the side of his face, and it kind of makes the same hook-like shape that is in the logo. So that's pretty much the best way to do that. Then I copied it and put it on the other side. You have to change it. You have to kind of like rotate it a little bit, but it's not like, I can't really explain that. You just kind of have to play with it. But it's hard to see because it's black, so that's why it takes me a minute just to rotate it around a bit and change it. But again, that's not that hard. And then really, all that's left to do here after you get that part done is just kind of make it, like, kind of round out the head enough to make it look right. Easiest way to do that is to just grab this smile thingy. I don't really know what that's supposed to be. Make that black, and you can kind of just use that to cover up the top in the parts that you want. That you kind of want to make it a little bit smaller and a little bit covered and a little bit rounder. I found that that's pretty much the best thing to do that with. So again, just make that black, shape it right, and then flip it. Well, not really flip it, but rotate it the other way and put it on the other side after you copy it. And that pretty much covers that up. And then, I mean, that right there is pretty close. I do cover up a little bit more. The way I do it, this part, this takes a minute. You can kind of ignore the next, like, 30-ish seconds, because it's me playing around with stuff to try to see what works and what doesn't. I found out that this doesn't work at all. This is kind of just me messing around with stuff to try to make it look the way I want it to. I don't really want mine to look exactly like the emblem, just because I don't like it that. I kind of think it looks better the way I end up doing it. But it's personal preference, obviously. Like, obviously, if you want it to look just like the emblem, it's not that much. It's pretty much the exact same thing, just a little bit different at the end. I do finally cover it with this tube thingy, just because I don't really know why. That just kind of seemed to work. It's rounded at the bottom, so it makes the rounded corner, which is what I wanted. This part does take a minute though, but that comes out fairly close, and then I just copy it and throw it on the other side. Well, I didn't copy it. I don't know why I didn't copy it. That would have been way easier. Oh well. We'll pretend that didn't happen. We'll just pretend I copied it. And then I put that one on the other side. And again, it doesn't look perfect. It's a little bit... Mine is thinner and like longer than the picture. The picture's a bit fatter. But I personally like it like this because it takes up more space. Obviously, if you want it to be... It's not like it's hard to make it fatter. You just kind of make it fatter. It's not really that complicated. I'm sure you can figure that part out. Now that you have all the base stuff of what to go on. So, I mean, that one is probably the hardest one to figure out, just because trying to get the face part right took a minute. But it wasn't that hard. It wasn't impossible or anything. So that's the Punisher logo. I happen to like it quite a lot. I'm probably going to use that one over the other one so far. And so with that, I'm out. Peace, guys.